Really hoping you can't hear the fan. I'm not going to turn it off. It is too hot, and I've been putting off filming this video because it's so hot. Hey everyone, it's Rose and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my June wrap up. We're going to talk about all the books I read, what I rated them, and of course keeping it spoiler free. So this month I read 15 books, 6,533 pages. This month has been a lot for me mentally. So like I read the first probably 12 of these in the first half, and I've just spent the last couple of days finishing a few books I've been trying to read for weeks. So this wrap up is not going to have as many books as normal, but we've still got 15, which is a lot. I'm going to take you through in the order that I read them. The first book I attempted to read was a DNF, and it was a book I had a physical copy of. I've already sold it because I just did not want it. We have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. I tried so hard. I tried so hard last month to read the first book. Simply couldn't. I tried so hard this time around to read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. No, I think I got 150 pages in, was hating it the whole way through, and then the guy told the girl, you liked what happened way too much to call it assault. And I had to put the book down. Okay, no. I don't want to continue reading. That is not redeemable for me, so why would I want to continue reading about these characters? Then I read this book in a video actually that is already out by now. We have The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is like a prequel to The Hunger Games. I absolutely adored the Hunger Games trilogy, and this book, I loved it. I was so pleasantly surprised. I thought nothing could ever come close to The Hunger Games, but I rated this book 4 stars. I did really like it. It's about President Snow in his childhood and his teenage years, and it was a really interesting perspective. We have the second DNF, which is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. I didn't rate this book. Usually if I DNF a book, it's because I absolutely hate it and I'm gonna rate it 1 star and go on a run. This book is just, it's not for me. There was not bad writing, there was nothing problematic about it. I just don't think this book is for me. I found it personally really boring, felt like nothing really happened. I like, you know, fantasy, there's going to be a lot of plot in that, or thrillers, there's something you're trying to figure out. This is just contemporary fiction. I don't know, it's just, I just felt like I was just going with her throughout her time, and I'm also glad that I DNF'd this and didn't try to pick it up recently, because this book does have a lot of grief and I don't want to be reading that right now. Not a Happy Family by Shari Lapena. I adore Shari Lapena so much. I rated this book 4 stars. Oh my goodness. These are twisty, turny thrillers. They deal with heavy topics. You're always left surprised, and this did not disappoint. I love Shari Lapena's writing so much. I only have a few books left from her, so like I'm trying to space them out now, but they are read in one sitting, bingeable books. Then I read Dear Aaron by Mariana Zapata on my Kindle, and I rated this 3 stars. Now I feel like I have quite unpopular opinions about this book. A lot of people don't like it because the first at least half is just letters and like IM messages. I love stuff like that in books. A lot of people hated it, but liked the second half more. I loved the first half with the letters and the IM messages. Where it fell flat for me was when they met up in person and it was like an actual book. I don't know. I felt like they had a really good friendship and they should have stayed in the friend zone. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but I rated this book 3 stars. I have another book I read in the same video as The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I'm pretty sure it is the most recent video other than this one on my channel. It is called Finishing Series I'm in the Middle of. So I picked up Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is a chunky book. It is over 800 pages. This took me a while to read. I rated it 3 stars. I liked maybe the first 200 pages, and then it felt like I'd already read a whole book. And this book is actually split into 5 books in here. It's like end of book 1, end of book 2. Honestly, this book felt like 5 books. It was so long and I felt it was really dragged out at points. I enjoy this world, but I'm not sad that I'm done with it now because this book was quite disappointing. Then I read an arc of one of my most anticipated releases ever from Lucy Foley, the author who got me back into reading. I read The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. This is out now. I rated it 4 stars. It is such a good fast-paced thriller. It is so twisty, so turny, there's so many points of view, but it's not confusing with the points of view. I always get worried with stuff like that, but I feel like the characters are so distinctive, you know whose head you are in. Super, super enjoyable. Really liked it. I still can't believe I read this book, but it was the 3rd and final book I read in that video I was talking about. I think I read this book purely because I wanted it on camera, because it was a ride, let me tell you. This book is 756 pages. I rated it 2 stars. This is Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer, which is Twilight Book 1 told from Edward's perspective. It's a retelling of the first book and it is double the length. It was so repetitive. It was so tiring being in his head. It was so boring. It just repeated the same event over and over and over and over and over again. It was so dragged out, and I'm just glad it's done because I'm gonna unhaul that book. Then we had a 5-star though. So, you know, everything redeemed itself. I buddy read The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden with my friend Ellen. We love buddy reading Frida's books when they come out because, like, we will try and predict what's going on. We're like, oh, I have this theory, I know what's going on. Never once are we right. Like, never once. Her books are insane. This is the 3rd book in the Housemaid series. I think it's going to be the last one because I don't know where else she can go from here, honestly. I rated it 5 stars just because it felt like, and Ellen said this and I agreed, it felt like a Frida book again. The last couple of books, although I enjoyed them, have felt like she was going in a different direction, but this one was like classic Frida McFadden again, and I loved it. Could not stop reading it. Like, I was only pausing for Ellen to catch up and she was only pausing for me to catch up. Like, so good. I listened to an arc of The Deadly Spark by Roxy Key. Thank you to NetGalley for providing me with a copy. Thank you to NetGalley for The Midnight Feast as well. This one unfortunately was 2 stars. I didn't like any of it. It's a thriller. It wasn't very thrilling to me. It was 448 pages and it did feel that long. I rated 2 stars. I'm pretty sure I predicted what was going on. And the things I didn't predict were just so disappointing. So, not much nice to say about that one, unfortunately. I read 3 K.L. Slater books. I listened to them all, actually. They are on the Audible Plus catalogue and they're also on Kindle Unlimited, and I feel like she is a good... For me, all her books have been like 3 or 3.5 stars, but they are all fast-paced thrillers and they're just like a read in one sitting, get your mind distracted, get immersed in the storybooks, so they work well for me. The first one I read from her was The Narrator. I rated that 2.5 stars. I just told you they were like 3 to 3.5. That's the only one I've ever rated lower than 3. I don't know. I didn't like this one. I did like the fact that it was fast-paced. It got my mind off things going on in my life right now. And I don't know. I just felt like the plot twist in this one was quite lackluster and I was a bit disappointed by it. But then I read 2 more that I rated 3 stars. We have The Bedroom Window. I really liked this one. It was really creepy. There was a lot of messed up stuff going on. The reason I rated it 3 stars was because there was a line towards the end, which I can't tell you because it's spoilers, that was either written wrong or was not explained. So there's like a plot hole in my head, but I don't know. Like, I reread it to make sure I wasn't reading it wrong, but now I don't know whether it was written wrong or not explained. Basically, there was more people than there should have been, like, revealed. And I was like, oh my god, who's this other person? And then they never mentioned it again, so that's the reason it's 3 stars, because I hate unresolved endings. Then I read Missing by K.L. Slater and rated that one 3 stars as well. I finished this the other day. It was good. I can't really tell you the plots for these books, like, they're thrillers, and I always suggest going into thrillers blind, other than of course checking content warnings. Thrillers are dark in general. but I like the plot twist in this one. I thought it was pretty good. My mind is like trying to come up with what I felt when I read these books and just drawing a blank. So I'm sorry if this wrap up is not the most amazing. I just needed to get this filmed and I wanted to let you guys know what I'd read. 2 more books. We ended, this is what I've been doing the last few days, like finishing books I've been reading for the rest of the month. We have Ruthless Fate by, whoa, my ring light is not doing me favours. We have Ruthless Fate by Caroline Peckham and Susa Valenti. This is my reread of the second book in the Zodiac Academy series. Of course, this book was 5 stars. Did we expect anything different? I rated it 5 stars the first time and the second time I read it. It's my 3rd time reading this book and it did not disappoint. Absolutely adore this world. Can't wait to continue. I think I'm gonna read, so far I've been keeping with reading 1 book a month from this series because I love it so much and I don't want to speed through it too much because my heart will break. So, the last book I just finished was Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is the first book in the Plated Prisoner series. I'm so excited to be reading this series. This is such an easy read, such a fast read, very dark, check content warnings. I think I'm going to rate it 4 stars. I'm not completely settled on it yet because I literally just finished this book, but I'm super excited to be continuing with this series. That's everything I read in June. July is either going to be a complete reading slump or I'm going to read like 1,000 books. I have no clue how my reading is going to go. I'll just keep you updated as we go along. I am most active on Goodreads and TikTok, which is linked below, but I think I'm going to try and post some more on Instagram this month. So if you want to keep up with me on there, please do, it's down below. But that's all from me. If you'd like to subscribe to see more, please do. Please like, subscribe. I post new videos every single week. I'll have my July TBR going up in a few days, so look out for that. But that's all. I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you in another video. Bye.